Gentlemen, tonight, as the winds from the Tianfang mountain range sweep across the rooftops, carrying with them a biting chill, I invite you to step into a story, not belonging to any one person, but to all of us, those who carry a heart capable of both love and anger. The ancients said, anger is a fire that burns the one who holds it. Yet, how many of us truly understand this when life keeps pushing, cornering, crushing us until our hearts ignite with injustice, sorrow, and loss? The story tonight, dear listeners, is not merely the tale of a young monk orphaned by tragedy, nor simply the uprising of the poor driven to desperation. It is the story of a person forced to face himself, standing at the crossroads of two paths. One path lit by the flames of anger, the other illuminated by the light of compassion. And perhaps, only when we dare to look within, do we finally understand clearly what the Buddha taught. Happiness does not lie in the future, but in each breath of the present moment. So please, sit with me, just a little while, and listen to the story of Zen shadows on the peak of Tianfang, a story in which, whether we wish it or not, each of us will find a part of ourselves. You happen to pass by the Tianfang mountain range, where the morning mist wraps around the old pine peaks like a silver shawl. You may come across a small temple built on the hillside, its tiles faded, its wooden beams simple, yet its incense smoke never once extinguished. People call it Tinh Van Temple. It is not large, not famous, has no golden Buddha statues, nor massive bronze bells like the great temples in the lowlands. But strangely, whoever stops by, eats a bowl of hot porridge, drinks a cup of ginger tea, sleeps one night under its roof, when they descend the mountain the next morning, everyone says, I don't know why, but my heart feels a little lighter. And if you are lucky, you might meet an old monk, thin, slightly stooped, gentle yet deep eyes. People call him Zen Master Minh Son. To the world, he is merely an old monk chanting sutras, teaching village children to read, giving free herbal medicine to the poor. But very few know that long ago, he was not the gentle monk he is now. Long ago, he too once stood up for justice fueled by anger and paid a heavy price. The story I'm about to tell you is his. Before receiving the Dharma name Minh Son, he had a very ordinary name, Ka. Ka was born in a poor village at the foot of Tianfang Mountain. His parents were not officials, only brickmakers and lime burners, living through sweat and dying by it. His childhood was tied to the rumbling kilns, the sting of charcoal smoke, and the blazing red fire inside the lime furnace. His father once said, on a winter night as they sat beside the kiln, "You know, the fire in the kiln can bake bricks and lime. That is useful. But the fire in one's heart, if not used properly, only burns oneself." Back then, Ka listened, but did not understand. Then one day, the kiln collapsed. A cracked wall gave way, red bricks crumbled. People screamed, ran in panic. His father was inside. They spent hours digging, finally pulling him out, body scorched, eyes still staring at the sky. Ka fell to his knees, hugging the burned body, screaming until his voice broke. But the cause of the collapse was not the earth or the heavens. It was the district magistrate who forced the villagers to speed up firing. Higher heat, shorter drying time, so he could finish constructing another palace wing. The clay had not settled, the bricks were not fully hardened, yet the kiln was forced to burn hotter, until everything couldn't take it anymore, and fell apart. The magistrate merely waved his hand. The villagers were careless. Give them some burial money. Fire up another kiln. That night, beside his father's body, Ka held a handful of damp lime-covered earth. For the first time, what rose inside him was not sorrow, but hatred. After his father's death, his mother fell ill. She passed away only a few months later. What becomes of an orphan in a poor village? Either a hired servant or a beggar. But Ka refused to beg. He decided to climb the mountain. People said an old temple, Lam Temple, stood up there, and its abbot, monk Trung Tam, took in orphans, teaching them letters and the way. Some stayed a few years, then returned to life. Some stayed and shaved their heads. The day Ka climbed to the temple, the sky was overcast. He stood at the moss-covered stone steps, staring at the faded tiles, his heart heavy. The abbot, sitting beneath a pine tree turning prayer beads, looked at him and asked softly, "Child, why have you come here?" Ka knelt and whispered, "I have nowhere else to go." The abbot looked at him for a long moment. He asked nothing more. He simply said, "The rule of the temple is morning bell, sweeping the yard, noon chanting, work duties, Afternoon watering trees, chopping wood, evening meditation. Can you do that? Ka nodded. From that day, he became the youngest novice in the temple, Dharma named Tin Ka. People often think that entering a temple means finding peace, but for Ka, his early days there were anything but peaceful. Every afternoon, after chanting, while other novices laughed and played, Ka would slip behind the temple and stare toward his village. Far away, the smoke of the brick kiln still rose. Every time he saw it, he remembered the collapse, the screams, the lifeless eyes of his father buried beneath brick. One day, monk Trung Tam walked by and saw him sitting alone. He asked, "What are you looking at out there?" Ka replied, "The kiln that killed my father." The abbot sighed. "It was not the kiln that killed your father. It was human greed. That is the greatest furnace." He sat beside Ka. "And what do you want most now?" Ka bit his lip. "When I grow up, I want them to pay. I won't let anyone else die like my father." The monk nodded slowly. "To want people not to suffer, that is good. But if you start with anger, you will walk very far without knowing whom you are burning." He looked into Ka's eyes, gentle but sad. The Buddha taught, happiness is not in the future, it is in the present. Those who tell themselves, when I take revenge, when I gain power, then I will be happy, will never be happy, because by then their hearts will hold only ashes. Ka bowed his head, but inside him the seed of anger still smoldered. That year, drought hit. Fields cracked, canals dried, half the harvest had been swept away by last year's floods. Yet the court increased taxes. Magistrate Dothum, the same man who forced the villagers to overfire the kiln, was now even wealthier. He sent soldiers to each house, demanding more silver. The emperor is building a new palace. The people must contribute. You already know what the people contributed: sweat and lives. One noon, as Ka fetched water from the stream, he saw soldiers dragging an old man up the mountain. It was old Ba, the brickworker who had worked with his father. Old Ba knelt in the temple courtyard, crying, "Master, save us! The magistrate seizes land, forces us into unpaid labor. Anyone who resists is beaten to death." The abbot came out and helped him up. "Tell me everything." Old Ba explained, voice trembling but eyes burning. He said the land belongs to the court. Whoever refuses to surrender it, his soldiers tear down their homes. Many were beaten, bound, dragged away. I escaped, ran here to beg you. Ka felt the blood boiling inside him. His father died because of that magistrate. Now he was destroying the whole village. Monk Trung Tam sighed. "Very well, I will go down to the magistrate's hall." Ka said, "I'm coming too, master." The magistrate's mansion was like a fortress, stone pillars, glazed tiles, guards everywhere. The abbot led the way, prayer staff in hand. Ka and old Ba followed. At the gate, guards blocked them. What business does a monk have here? The abbot smiled, palms together. "I heard the people cry injustice. I request an audience." The guards sneered. "Monks recite scriptures. Court matters are none of your concern." But eventually, they were allowed in. Inside the hall, Dothum sat on a cushioned throne, fat, red-faced, jeweled fingers, sipping tea. "Ah, venerable master," he said mockingly, "what wind carries you here?" The abbot bowed slightly. "I come not for tea, but for one question. Are the people not human?" Dothum frowned. "What do you mean?" "If the people live, the court survives. If the people die, this land becomes nothing but graves." The monk said quietly. "Why force them to surrender land? Why work them to death?" The magistrate set down his cup, face cold. "Land belongs to the king. If the king wishes to use it, the people must yield. Monks should mind sutras, not interfere." The abbot remained calm. "Do you not believe in karma, magistrate?" Dothum scoffed. "Karma is for after death. Right now I must survive." Ka stepped forward, unable to hold back. "You killed my father with that kiln, and now you want to kill the village too." Guards raised spears. "Impudent novice, silence!" Ka lunged, but the abbot held him back. "Tin Ka, step back!" Dothum flicked his hand. "Beat them. Let them learn respect." Guards stormed in. They struck. Blows rained down on the abbot first because he shielded Ka and old Ba with his own back. Ka screamed, "Stop! Don't hit him!" He threw himself forward, taking blows too. The pain was sharp, fiery. But inside, his anger flared even hotter. They were thrown out like dogs. On the road, Ka whispered through clenched teeth, "I swear, I will not let him live in peace." The abbot murmured, "You have just taken one long step away from the temple gates, Ka." That night, when the temple slept, Ka washed his wounds at the well. Footsteps approached. A man wrapped in cloth appeared. It was Ngia, Ka's childhood friend, now a mine laborer. Ka, I heard you went to the magistrate. And they beat you? Ka laughed bitterly. That is nothing. They beat my master. That is unforgivable. Ngia lowered his voice. Ka, we are gathering. The miners, the road workers, the farmers who lost land. We can't take it anymore. We want to rise. Ka stared at him. How? We raid the granary, burn the tax registry, drive the magistrate out. Ngia swallowed hard. We need a leader. People trust you more. You read books. You live in the temple. You understand Dharma. Silence. Wind howled through the pines. Finally, Ka asked, If I lead, will you die with me? Ngia smiled sadly. We're already dying. He gripped Ka's hand. You say the temple teaches compassion, but if compassion means letting people be crushed, I don't need that compassion. To save people, we need strength. His words struck deep. Ka thought of old Ba, of the villagers, of his father, of his master wounded at the magistrate hall. The fire rose. He nodded. I'll think of a plan. Small changes happened at the temple. Stronger bamboo staffs, neatly stacked firewood, extra daggers hidden in rice bags sent to the village. Monk Trung Tam noticed. He saw the glances exchanged between Ka and Ngia. He saw Ka disappear for long hours. One night, he summoned Ka. What are you hiding from me? Ka told him everything. No lies. He ended with, I can't stand it anymore, master. The abbot asked only one question. Are you doing this for the people or for revenge? Ka froze, then whispered, both. The abbot sighed deeply. People often say, when I achieve this, I will be happy. But when they achieve it, their hearts are stone. Happiness does not come after the storm, Ka. It lies in the way you take each step today. If you use anger to pursue future happiness, you will only carry fire and burn someone else on the next road. Ka said nothing. Inside him, the cries of the villagers drowned all wisdom. That night, he decided he would be a monk, but also a rebel leader. No uprising begins with a trumpet. It begins with a cry. That night, the cry was of a mother whose son was beaten to death by soldiers. The news spread like fire. Ngia rushed to Ka. Tonight, we go. They gathered, miners, workers, farmers, eyes burning, hands gripping sticks, hoes, blades. Ka wore no monk robe. He wore a dark cloth tunic, prayer beads hidden inside, bamboo staff in hand. He said, I don't know if we will survive tomorrow, but if we stay silent, more will die. If you fear, stay. If you go, go together. But promise me one thing, if someone must die tomorrow, don't let your heart die first. They marched. The magistrate hall glowed with lanterns. Guards laughed, unprepared. Stones flew. Sticks struck. Shouts erupted. The gates broke. Soldiers fired arrows. People fell. Blood painted the courtyard. They dragged Otham out, luxurious garments dirtied, hair wild. You fools! You dare rebel against the court? An elderly woman shouted, What kind of court lets the people starve? But distant horns sounded. Imperial soldiers marched in, armor gleaming. The courtyard turned into a battlefield. Ka fought, saved who he could, lost many he couldn't. The Buddha's teachings drowned in screams. The rebellion was crushed, many died. Ngia was gravely injured, captured. The magistrate was protected by higher officials. He was praised as loyal despite disorder. Ka managed to escape. He returned to the temple, covered in dried blood. Monk Trung Tam was waiting. You went and you returned. Ka knelt. I killed people. I led others to their deaths. I do not regret it. I only regret I didn't bring him down. The abbot looked at him, then said quietly, In ancient times, the Buddha himself was once a prince. He could have become a king, could have conquered many lands, but he abandoned it all because he understood. Even if one rules the entire world, if the mind is not at peace, one is still a slave to oneself. He looked into Ka's eyes. You want to overthrow an evil official. That is not wrong. But if you believe that, only when I defeat him will I finally be at peace. Then you have already handed the key to your happiness into his hands. He sighed. Can't you see? Today you fight, you hate. Tomorrow, you may become another version of him, only sitting in a different chair. Ka choked up. Then, what should I do? Just watch the people die? No one can answer such a question easily, ladies and gentlemen. One side is compassion, the other is justice. Which one would a person choose? A few days later, the court issued a decree. Lam Temple harbors rebels and incites the people to revolt. Abbot Trung Tam must be taken to the capital for interrogation. Soldiers arrived and surrounded the temple. Monk Trung Tam stepped forward. I will go. Ka rushed out. No, Master has done nothing wrong. Dotham, now commander of the troops, sat on horseback, sneering, I'm only following the imperial decree. Anyone who wants to go with him, I won't stop. He looked at Ka, eyes cold. You, little rebellious monk, you should come to the capital too. Ka tightened his fists, ready to charge. But Trung Tam stopped him, whispering, Ka, stay. I won't let you go alone, Ka cried. I am not going alone, the monk smiled gently. I go with what I believe in, and you stay with what you still have. He turned to the soldiers. I will go. They tied him up and led him away. It was the last time, for a long time, that Ka saw the teacher he respected most. In the capital, Trung Tam was imprisoned, awaiting trial. His charges: inciting rebellion, harboring traitors, insulting the court. But in truth, he had only one crime. He did not remain silent when people were being oppressed. Ka could not bear it. He decided to go to the capital to rescue his master, even if he had no idea how. Along the way, he heard the news. Nia had been executed. The miner's head fell on the execution ground, his body buried hastily outside the city. That night, Ka sat by the river, watching the lights of the capital shimmer on the water, his heart as heavy as stone. He thought, if I hadn't led them, perhaps Nia wouldn't have died. If I hadn't fanned the flames, perhaps Master wouldn't have been taken. But another voice in him argued, if no one does anything, will we let them kill forever? The two voices battled in his head, neither winning. At last, he reached the prison. With the last money from the temple, he bribed a guard and was allowed to see his master. In the dim cell, Trung Tam looked thinner, but his eyes still shone. You've come, he said. Ka knelt. I've come to take you out. The monk chuckled softly. With what? Sticks, knives, or fire? Ka remained silent. The monk continued. You always think about one day. One day you'll defeat the evil official. One day you'll save the people. One day you'll be at peace. But you forget. Every day you live in anger is a day you kill yourself. He paused, then said slowly, happiness is not in the future, Ka. It is in this very moment, when you dare to face your own mistakes, when you dare to let go of hatred at the moment it burns strongest. Ka's throat tightened. Then, do you regret it? Regret speaking up for the people? Trung Tam shook his head. I do not regret standing up, but I regret that I could not teach you how to stand without letting the fire burn your heart. He smiled gently. If I die tomorrow, do not say you will only be at peace after overthrowing the court. Look instead at the small things you do today. A bowl of porridge for the hungry, a coat for the cold, a word that keeps a desperate person alive for one more day. That is happiness, not a throne, not a sword. Ka burst into tears. For the first time since his father's death, he cried like a real child. Not from hatred, but from realizing he had spent his life chasing a happiness that never came while forgetting how he was living in the present moment. The court showed no mercy. Monk Trung Tam was executed for masterminding rebellious ideology. On the day of his execution, the sky was gray. People gathered by the execution ground. Some cried, others remained silent. Ka stood in the crowd, wearing a gray robe, his head shaved, eyes red. The monk was brought out, hands bound, barefoot but standing tall. He looked around as if searching for someone. When he found Ka's gaze, he smiled. No resentment, no blame, no fear. The executioner raised his axe. The monk spoke his final words, uncertain whether to Ka or to life itself. Do not burn yourself for a tomorrow that has not yet come. Then the axe fell, and in that instant all sound disappeared. Ka felt his heart drop. People say that after that day, at dusk, a faint brown-robed figure could be seen sweeping the execution ground like a temple courtyard. No one dared get close. After Trung Tam's death, the people beneath the mountain burned with even greater hatred for the court. Many came to Ka. Master, you are the abbot now. Lead us, we will follow. We will avenge our teacher, Nia, and the whole village. Ka looked at them. He was no longer the naive novice he once was. He had tasted blood, smoke, and despair. He asked, and after you avenge them, what will you do? Well, we will live in peace, someone answered. Peace, Ka repeated. If your hearts still cling to fire, how will you be at peace? You will fear the fire going out, and then you will look for someone else to burn. No different from the officials you hate. Someone snapped. So you want us to stay silent? Let them butcher us? Ka shook his head. I'm not telling you to be silent. I'm telling you, before you pick up a sword, Look at which hand you use, the hand of hatred or the hand of wisdom? He sighed. My master died standing between the court and the people. I do not want to die the same way just so you can replace the name Trung Tam with another. If you truly want a different life, start today. Do not live by stepping on others. Do not stay silent when injustice happens beside you. Do not promise yourself, when I achieve this, then I will be happy. He pressed his palms together. I choose a different path, not the path of fire, but the path of light. Some people left, disappointed. Some stayed, lost in thought. Years passed. Lam Temple was demolished by order of the court after the execution. But on the mountainside, Ka, now Zen Master Minh Son, built a small hut. From that hut, a new temple slowly grew, Tinh Van Temple. No more plotting against officials. No more daggers hidden in rice sacks. Only pots of porridge, bowls of medicine, and sutra scrolls. The hungry climbed up for a bowl of warm porridge and a story, then left with lighter hearts. A young widow cried there for a night. In the morning, she found she could still breathe, and so she lived on. An orphan learned to write the character patience, then the character peace. One day, an old miner with white hair climbed the mountain. He looked at Zen Master Minh Son and suddenly recognized him. Master, you're Ka, aren't you? Minh Son smiled. That name, I left it in the fire long ago. Now I am only an old man who sweeps the temple yard. The old miner sighed. In the past, we thought, when we overthrow Trung Tam and those officials, we will stop suffering. Now I am old and I finally understand. As long as we live by stepping on others, we are no different from them. Minh Son nodded. Happiness is not in a throne. It is in this, being able to sleep tonight without feeling ashamed before the dead. One afternoon, as sunlight turned the pine branches gold, a stranger visited the temple. That person might be you or me or anyone who stepped into a temple carrying too much sorrow. The visitor asked, Master, my life is full of suffering. I keep thinking, if one day I have more money, more status, then I will suffer less, then I will be happy. Zen Master Minh Son poured a cup of tea and slid it forward. Drink. The visitor held the cup, still staring down. I'm asking you a question. And I am answering it, the monk smiled. This cup of tea isn't for tomorrow. It can only be drunk now. If you save it for later, it grows cold, and all that's left is bitterness. Happiness is the same. It does not lie in the thought, when I have this or that, I will be happy. It lies in what you are doing with your life right now. He looked directly into the visitor's eyes. You keep running toward the future, but forget what your feet are stepping on in this moment, flowers or people. The visitor fell silent. Outside, the wind stirred. Wind chimes on the porch rang softly. Some say, if Zen Master Minh Son had gone into politics, he might have changed the entire kingdom. Others say, because he didn't, at least Tianfang Mountain still has one place where the suffering can come to breathe. Which is true? Nobody knows. But many years after he passed away, people still whispered his words. I once chased happiness in the future, in hatred, in the dream of overthrowing, in the fantasy of building a new world. But all I found was blood and ashes. One day I realized, happiness is not a kingdom yet to come. It is the hot bowl of porridge you give to the hungry today, without asking them to bow and call you savior. And so, ladies and gentlemen, this story may not have a perfect ending. No grand revolution, no king overthrown, no paradise rebuilt. Only an old monk, a small temple, and ordinary people suffering a little less each day. But perhaps that is exactly what aligns with the Buddha's teaching. Happiness is not in the future, but in the present. And in the present moment, what are we doing with the fire in our hearts? The story seems to end here. But in truth, it is only beginning. For the suffering of Ka, later known as Master Minh Son, was not merely the suffering of one man, but the suffering of generations. Of those who keep running toward the future, believing that only when they avenge their pain, only when they gain power, only when they grasp what they desire, will they finally be happy. Yet in the end, all they find is ashes. All of us have been angry before. Angry at others, angry at life, angry at ourselves. And we have all thought, at least once, when everything changes, I will find peace. But as you can see, Master Trung Tam is gone. Nye has fallen. Countless villagers have perished. Only one lesson remains, echoing through the forests of Tianfang. If you wish to find happiness, do not walk toward tomorrow. Look at each step you take right now. Tomorrow has not yet come. Yesterday is already gone. Only today is real. And when a person learns to set down their hatred, to recognize their own suffering and the suffering of others, the fire in their heart will no longer burn them. It will become a lantern that lights the way. Tonight, the story closes beneath the ancient pine trees where a small lantern still hangs, swaying gently in the wind. If someday your heart feels unbearably heavy, please remember the words of Master Minh Son. Happiness does not lie in the future, but in this very moment when we stop to breathe, to love, and to let go. I wish you a peaceful night, and I look forward to seeing you again in our next story.